How y'all doing? This is Rick Sincere with MTMV Sports. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a very, very special version of the Huddle Up. You are right in the middle of the national championship game featuring the LSU Tigers and the Clemson Tigers. Right now, at the half, LSU is now leading. God knows what's going to happen in the second half. It has been an exciting matchup so far, fellas. As we hop into this, very special episode. How y'all feeling about the first half? What's up?
Well, honestly, there was a lot of high flying plays during the first half. Man, you see Clemson marching down the field one of the very first drives, and going in for a touchdown, man, and Trevor Lawrence running that in. But then shortly after, you see Joe Burrow marching down the field right back, throwing a couple of key passes to Chase to get back into the end zone, man. And when I tell you, I can't go against this guy. I tried, and it's so hard. Rick, you convinced me. So yeah, man, this guy is playing on a different level, and this is why they're going to win the game tonight.
Man, it's tough for me to say outright this early that this game, is in the books. And the reason I can't say that is because if you look at what Clemson was able to do in the first half, is they were able to confuse this LSU team. So they've been doing a really good job of confusing LSU up front. LSU has overcome the storm. And if we've seen this actually this weekend, right? If you've had a chance to watch the AFC divisional matchup, you saw the Houston Texans in the beginning, giving, the Chiefs a little bit of the business, right? And then the Chiefs coming back after that. So we just saw this kind of play out. Is this, but when you saw that momentum change, that was a wrap. And you just see momentum get switched back over to the Houston Texans.
Right.
I can see a way where the Clemson Tigers can actually steal back momentum. Can you guys see a way that Clemson can steal back momentum at this point?
I
I
mean,
think this.
anything is possible in the game of football. And as you stated, this weekend with seeing what Kansas City was able to do and using that as a rallying point, saying, look, we're gonna do something special. If Sunshine and the boys there at Clemson can grab hold to that same kind of spirit and mentality, anything's possible.
So the
Um,
facts.
I think so, but it don't have to be like a nail biter that's gonna really just have to take LSU out. Clemson just gonna have to come in and just do the impossible, like play a perfect second half. Because Joe Burrow right now, he's finding his rhythm. Like he's finding that he's getting that eye for the field right now, and I don't know if once he get that eye, can Clemson really just stop him? I don't know.
Man, it's been a really long time for these LSU Tigers. They haven't been in this situation. I haven't won a championship since 2006. Do you think that? Do you think at some kind of way possible, right? This will cement Orgeron and his legacy in LSU.
I think he's already a legend. I think his legacy is already cemented.
How? He's done nothing. This is
But
it.
the thing what he brought the program, even though he inherited from Les Miles, just think about what he's done so far. You know what I'm saying? I think he's this right here would be the icing on the cake for me. Like he would be probably one of the best coaches LSU's had in the past in my decade. You know, I can't speak on past my decade because I didn't really know about LSU. But in my decade, I've only known Les Miles and Ed Orgeron. So I think from what I've seen, he'll be one of the best that I've seen from LSU.
I know Ed Orgeron didn't inherit this from Les. What he inherited from Les was a bit of a mess, right? I mean, he got some talent from Les, but that offense was in shambles. The LSU offense has been very, very vanilla for the past decade, right? For the
Yeah,
past decade, they've been a very vanilla, run heavy, run first, play strong defense type of team. And it wasn't until the addition of Joe Brady, we talked about this before, it wasn't until the addition of Joe Brady and this off season, that's what makes this so wild to me. This off season, truly changed the way the LSU Tigers approach the offensive side of the ball. It's been completely different. Now, the only problem is they're not as dominant on defense, and that's the way that I see the Clemson Tigers having somewhat of a way back into this game, even though the score is what it is, right? You look at the Clemson Tigers, they've been able to move the ball at will up and down the field,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, I'm sorry, Will. I didn't mean to say at will like that. But they've been able to do whatever they want, right? Up and down the field. Now, if that's the case, man, can LSU stiffen? And how can they stiffen?
Well,
I
can I
think.
add something real quick?
Go for it, sir.
If you, look at what Ed Orgeron has done as far as a coach. He's always been the players' coach. Even back when his time when he was at Ole Miss, he brought us one of the best products and best stories of all time, and that's with Michael Orr.
Thanks, love.
Another one is when he inherited the USC team.
Thanks, love.
He took a struggling program and he put it under his wings and brought excitement back to for a little bit until they decide, hey, we want a West Coast guy. Let's go get a West Coast guy instead of a South guy. When he got to LSU, it was a lot of growing pains, but LSU is about to do something right now, and he's about to submit himself as far as one of the greatest LSU coaches of all time, or if not one of the greats, not one of the greatest of all time, but just one of the greats by doing what he's doing. This championship right here is going to put him in there.
Now, if Clemson is able to come back and win this game, what does that mean for the legacy of Dabo Swinney?
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Talk to me, JT.
It's gonna pretty much. He will go down as probably one of the greatest coaches, and this may be a stretch. And I know y'all may disagree, but I don't know. But I'm gonna just say it. I'll put him up there with probably one of the greatest coaches in college football history. Because one, there'll be the second time he's defeated an undefeated SEC team in the championship.
So you would put him above Nick Saban?
That's I'll put him in the same tier with Nick Saban.
Same tier as Nick.
What
Same
about
tier
Pete
with-
Carroll? Pete Carroll has done it with multiple schools.
Pete
He
Carroll has
cheated
done it
too,
with,
but
USC.
Did he cheat or did Bush cheat? I'm not sure.
all I know is he went to the pros after everything came out.
Yeah.
Well, look,
Right.
he went to the pros and won the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. He did.
You feel what I'm saying? So in my book, he's one of the greatest coaches ever. Because if you kill it at the college level like he did, right? And he took a hapless USC team and then took them to glory. Then left that program, went to the Seattle Seahawks and changed the story of that franchise.
But
Right.
so then what would you say Jim Harbaugh? Because he won at Stanford, took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. He hasn't been able to do it at Michigan, but still.
And that's what I say about him. He
Mhm.
hasn't been able to do it at Michigan. And that's a big deal. Because
But
he
think about
huge deal.
dominated in the Big Ten.
But think about what he had at Stanford. He had who? What's his quarterback? Did he have Andrew Luck as his quarterback?
I don't remember if he was the coach when Luck was the quarterback.
Who you talking about?
We got to go back for that. If somebody could look that up, we can.
Jim
You
Harbaugh.
But
yeah,
look,
that was his coach. That was his coach.
he has Shea
Hey,
Patterson
we got-
right now, right?
Yeah.
Shea Patterson is not devoid of talent.
No, because he balled at Ole Miss.
So you bring in, so you have Shea Patterson, right? You have him as your quarterback. You should be able to dominate the Big Ten, and he's been dominated by Ohio State since he's been there.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, honestly, if you win, like he won at the college level, then he moved on to the NFL, won at that level, came back to college, and hasn't regained that success. That puts a dent in his legacy to me.
Mm-hmm. It does,
make sense?
and let's go ahead and keep it on topic, because the game's coming back shortly. Rick, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Now, what does this do for Louisiana itself?
Honestly,
if LSU wins?
honestly, it heals a few of the wounds if they can get it right. There's been a gaping hole in the hearts of Louisiana, Louisiana sports fans, right? There's been gaping holes in the hearts of Louisiana sports fans because over the past 3 years, all Saints fans have suffered over and over and over again, right? Watching their Saints, who they love and who they had a lot of faith in, fall short of the goal to the point where it's almost hard to fully believe in this LSU team until we see it final. Does that make sense? Because you've
Right.
seen your team do so well, and you start to get that Atlanta complex to where we're close, but we haven't quite, got over the hump. It's been a decade since the championship. It's been over a decade for LSU, but it's been a decade for the Saints since the championship have touched down in New Orleans, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a baseball team. You feel me? Our
Right.
basketball team is waiting on Zion, like some Christians waiting on Jesus. So we,
Well, he's coming back. He's coming back, everybody.
I'm dead
He's coming back.
serious. I'm dead serious. So if we're in a situation like that, this would mean a lot to just kind of relieve the fans of Louisiana, the sports fans of Louisiana, who equally put a lot of hope in LSU, like they put a lot of hope in the New Orleans Saints. But I'll tell you right now, Louisiana fans are as nervous as any other fans in the world right now because even though they, are brash at times and boastful at times, they understand that this is a game Clemson team. And they saw what happened last year. You guys were here. What happened last year? Alabama was doing their thing right. Clemson found a way. Y'all remember the year when Clemson was doing their thing and Alabama switched something at halftime and
Yeah.
changed the
Right.
whole game? Y'all remember that, and everybody else
Yeah.
does too. So this would help to heal a lot of sports fans in Louisiana. Honestly, it would. At the same time, they're waiting with bated breath for a final whistle.
Now, and for you, JT, what does this do for the SEC? Does this solidify it being the top conference to ever be out, or I mean, I'm just saying, like we already know that the SEC is a great conference, but what does this do? What does this do for the conference?
Well, honestly, it doesn't do much because the SEC is already a dominant conference. Like the SEC is already the marquee conference. You know what I'm saying? So it will add more pressure to every other conference to kind of sort of um, get better or try to get to that level.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the SEC right now is on a different plateau than all the other conferences. I don't see the ACC really competing. Well, other than Clemson, I don't see no other team from the ACC really competing with the SEC year in year out. Ohio State can't really. I don't see the Big 12, Big 10, or the Pac 12 really just giving the SEC a run for their money just yet.
I'll be honest with you, man. I like where you're going with that. The only problem is that this LSU team has to be successful. If they're not successful, right, then what you're looking at is the dominance of the ACC.
Right.
Clemson
Right.
has been legit for a while now, right? They've beat Alabama. They beat undefeated
Mm-hmm.
Alabama. So
Yeah.
you can't outright claim dominance. Dominance was back in the day when it was every year it was SEC. You know what I mean? It hasn't been like that. It hasn't
Right.
been like that, right? It's kind of switched back and forth between SEC and Clemson, who represents the ACC. And so until we can outright claim dominance over Clemson, right? Then we can't outright claim dominance. That's just in my opinion.
But my thing is, if you take away Clemson, then who else do you have in the ACC that can compete? The SEC can send anybody to the playoff and pretty much compete.
Now, I will agree with you that it is the premier college um, organization, but to say that no one can compete is that's a bit of a stretch. You had Ohio State, who's been successful. As we stated, Clemson won last year, and they could do it again. Will, I'm sorry. It looks like I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say that yeah, right now it is. It's basically the ACC with Clemson, and then you have Alabama, LSU, and Alabama's always going to be there as long as Nick Saban is there. But you do kind of want to eventually, I think other programs will start to catch back up, like a Florida State, get back to that prominence, or a Notre Dame, or just other schools like in or even Miami can maybe, they almost had got back that 1 year and then they fell off again. But it'll be good to have a variety of other schools from different conferences start to step up. And Ohio State was almost that school. If it hadn't been for the wide receiver kind of stopping on the route, it might have been a different game. So I think as long as you got Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney, they're going to be there. But you can't count out Ohio State with the other coach. Was it what's his name? Daly?
Ryan Day.
Yeah, Day. And so you can't count them out. And then you never know. Some schools, I think it happens in like different. Yeah, different ways. Because at one point it was like Florida State was at school for a minute, or USC, and now it just happened to be, now it's Alabama and Clemson, and LSU might begin to be that team again. And then you got other coaches that have come to the SEC. They just had some new hires in the SEC that could, mix it up just a little bit. So we'll see how it goes, man.
All right, y'all. Hey, before we go, I need to. I just saw a commercial, and it looks like February 22nd. I think that's what the date was. Voice. We have Wilder versus Fury.
Yes,
2?
sir. Wilder versus Fury.
Oh,
Is that coming up?
That is.
Hey, before we head out, yo, let's just get quick predictions. What you got?
I got Wilder winning.
You got Wilder?
Yep. As much as I want to see Fury win,
yeah,
his ability to utterly end the fight at any moment makes it hard to go against Wilder.
Yeah,
okay.
I got Wilder in the knockout.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what
yeah,
you
I
got?
got.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Conrad.
Go ahead,
Conrad. Brother. You got it, Will.
I was gonna say I got Wilder too.
What you got, Conrad? My bad.
I got Wilder again with my boy JT winning the knockout, because in the fight, you can tell that he got robbed. I feel like he got robbed because he knocked Tyson Fury down. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna go in there like seeking blood. So it's gonna be a knockout.
You can't get robbed winning 2 rounds. I'm sorry. Yes, he knocked him down in the last round. Almost finished it. Knocked him down, I want to say, in the 7th round as well. But you can't win a fight winning 2 rounds unless you absolutely stop him, which he did not. It should not have been a draw. Tyson Fury should have won that first fight. Now, if he's able to box masterfully, he'll be able to win. However, he's got changes in his camp. He's got supposed that they're talking about he may be back back on drugs. So there are a lot of question marks out there.
He got the same people. What you talking about?
No, sir. He's got a new head trainer.
He had a new head trainer?
Yes, sir.
When did this happen?
A couple weeks ago, Javon Sugarhill Stewart.
What? Sorry, guys. Okay, everybody watching this, I'm sorry. My team, my voice, everybody. That's why he does this. That's why the voice does this. I stick with football. I'm always in the back. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel shame.
No need for shame. That's why we are my team, my voice. We all have our areas of expertise. And that's why I just insert whatever I can to help out in these conversations, because this is not my area of expertise.
Man, listen. Fury will definitely win by knockout. It'll be a knockout. I'm going Fury knockout in the eighth round.
Wow, the 8th round.
Yeah, I'm predicting a round. Fury knockout in the 8th round. Fury wins. Stopping Deontay Wilder dead in his tracks in the 8th round.
Well, I got a nice piece of land that you can buy with that kind of prediction. So just talk with me after this, because you sound like the right kind of sucker. I mean, person for the things that I've got available. The man's never been knocked down in
Say it
his
again.
career. The man has never been knocked down in his career. And
Yeah,
Fury
but
is not
apparently,
known
apparently he's
as
been knocked out cold by Klitschko in training. I've heard about it, and so
Fury doesn't have that Klitschko power
he
though.
does not have that Klitschko power. But you know what he does have?
What?
Pure boxing ability, and Wilder has the ability to lose himself in a matchup like that. And so I'm looking for a Fury knockout. I'm predicting a Fury knockout. And
I'm gonna say a Wilder knockout in 7.
Wilder
Okay.
knockout in 7th.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And look, I hate going against Wilder, man. But I do it every time because one of these times I'm gonna be right. So, or maybe not. Maybe he goes his entire career and knocks out every single person he boxes. I doubt it though. All right, y'all. So look, hey, predictions for the second half, man. Clemson's already kind of on a bit of a roll. They made a stop and they're on. They look, to be driving. What does it look like right now?
They're close to the 35-yard line of LSU.
Yeah, they're driving. So, all right, predictions for the second half. What you guys have?
Oh,
I'm gonna go ahead and say LSU, keep the foot on the gas. Finally, find that rhythm again. I see them put up maybe 21 more points.
Wow.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. What side? What you got?
I think we're gonna call this a score. We're gonna call this a scoreless half. I think the defense is just gonna be too stubborn. So I think we're gonna stick with the 28-17.
Yo,
Okay.
they just called a face mask on your boy, but he was being held as he was trying to make the tackle. That's so messed up, yo.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the LSU win. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, no points wise.
Yeah, I got a bold prediction. I got to step out there and say
Say it.
the Tigers are gonna win.
Look at you, bro. Do your thing.
What?
Do your thing. That
They
boy
sure
cool.
is.
That boy cool. All right,
I
y'all.
try.
Orange to the yellow.
All right, look. This
Right.
is a special halftime edition of the show. We're gonna get back into the game, y'all.
I got one thing to say.
Go ahead.
That boy ETN is running.
He cold blooded, man.
He
And
is.
in the first round of the draft, he is going to be somebody to deal with. You know what I mean? He's gonna be somebody. And look, and if they let him fall, if you let him fall into the 20s, some team is gonna get great
Chiefs.
value.
Yeah.
We need a running back.
Some team is gonna get great value. All right, y'all. Hey, let's
Miami
sign out,
Dolphins,
guys.
baby.
Oh. Clemson about to score.
Hey, this your boy West Side, the best side. I'm going.
All right,
It's your
JT.
boy JT, you know what I'm saying? I'm out this guy. Later.
It's your
Well-
man, the voice.
Oh, I'm sorry, voice.
I'm
Will
done.
Smith, red and bold, baby.
Voice, go ahead, brother.
It's your man, the voice.
All right, y'all. It's Rick Sincere, MTMV Sports. We out. God bless.